Hello, YouTube. We are back for another installment of Captain Arrow or Ario. We know it's Arrow. But here's the deal. I am done leaf casting every page of the book. This is right here, the centerfold. And as you can see, every single page was leaf casted, and it turned out very well. So what are we going to do next? What we're going to do next is I'm going to focus on the things that I do after leaf casting. It's not just leaf casting, put it back together and send it off. No. There are many different tasks that must be done in order to achieve the results that I want to do. Every time I do one of these books, I am raising the bar. So there's essentially 5 things that have to be done with this book so it's completed. One is I have to sand the pages, and I'll show you what I'm talking about in a second. That's going to be the focus of this upload. Then we have to wet press the book in isolated areas. That's going to be another upload. Then I have to trim the pages because we have to adjust and make sure that every page is the right cut. Then I have to install the staple holes, and then we have to assemble it by making the curve on the spine. You just don't fold it. And then we press it one more time with heat and with the cold press. So I hope everyone enjoyed the actual time lapse that I did for the book itself. And the reason why I did time lapse, a few of you commented in relation to whether I'm going to change my format. The answer is no. I'm going to continue doing the way I do it in the past, but I just wanted to do the time lapse to make sure that I can show you the whole process for the leaf casting. And if I filmed it regular, we would have just me talking about the same thing with every single page, because it's pretty unique to each page, the same work. So what are we going to do? What we're going to do is, just because you leaf cast the book and it did come out very smooth, you still need to smooth it a little bit better. And I want to blend it with the existing page of the original book, because there is a lift. You can feel the actual leaf casting. So how are we going to do this? I've done this in the past with, I believe, the Hulk 181 series, but I didn't focus on it with a whole upload. I'm going to sand the leaf casting, and we're going to blend it in with the existing page to make it a nice and smooth finish. I also want to sand a little bit off the spine as well. When we sand, this is what I use. This is 1000 grit sandpaper. It's very fine, so it will not create ridges or sanding marks in the paper. You can use it safely. This is used for auto body, one application, where you wet sand the paint between the steps of finishing the exterior of a car. So I like to use it on the paper pulp to give it a nice fine finish and blend it in better. So this is a piece that is cut, no particular dimension. I like to fold it, small piece, and then what I do is I gently go back and forth with the cast to give it a nice smooth finish. And you take your time You don't apply too much pressure. You just let the weight of the paper do its job. Now this actually smooths out the pulp beautifully. But then you have to be very delicate when you get to the end of the leaf casting, where it lines up with the original book or the original page. So when I do this, I want to just gently sand it so we are knocking down any type of high spots. So if you do this and you take your time doing it, when you rub your finger against the casting in relation to the existing page, it will be seamless, it will be smooth, and it will transition nicely into the existing page. So that's it, guys. And I'll do this for each page, taking my time, going around the perimeter of the cast, making it nice and smooth, and blending it in with the existing paper. And it really turns out very well in doing this. And I don't know if this is something that other people do in relation to their leaf casting professional conservationists. It's just something that I do, and I would recommend doing it, because just because you do the leaf casting, it's paper, and it doesn't necessarily dry 100% smooth. And this will knock off the layer of any high spots and blend it in very nice with the existing book. So that's all that I'm gonna do, guys, and I'll do around the whole perimeter. And we also wanna do the spine. So when you do that, you just go along, up and down, and you do one side at a time, because you don't wanna cross over into the graphics by accident, and then you just knock it down. Another thing I like to do with the spine is, this is a cardboard cylinder that I cut to size from a hanger that you get from the dry cleaner. This is what the garment rests on. So I cut it down to the size of the actual paper itself, and then I like to run up and down the spine this way. And we want to smooth it out a little bit so the spine becomes a little thinner, because you have to understand that just because you are adding paper when you do the leaf casting, and by adding the paper, it does add to the thickness of the book when you reassemble it. So by sanding it nice and smooth and knocking down a small portion of the cast, you will have a better product when it is finished. And I can tell just by feeling the actual paper after I sand this. So this is a very labor-intensive portion of the conservation practice. I am going to do this to each page, and I'm going to get really focused. So I'm going to end this upload now, because it's just repetition. And I'm going to do each page, make sure it's nice and smooth, and then we'll come back for the wet pressing. And just to give you, by way of example, what the wet pressing is, as you can see here, there is roughness. It's wrinkled in the corner of this book. It's still very delicate, the pages. So I'm going to show you how I smooth out these wrinkled pieces without using heat, but instead using methyl cellulose and my spoon and Hollytex. So stay tuned. I hope you enjoyed this upload. It's a short one, and I'll be doing this for each page. And I hope you understand the process. I'm sure you enjoyed it, hopefully. And don't forget, we're coming to the end. So if you enjoy my channel, you enjoy my content, please go over to the Comic Book Community Awards website, vote for Jerry the Jitterbug in the class that I am nominated. Thank you, everyone. And let's see if we can bring home the award this year. I'm up against some stiff competition. So stay tuned, and thanks for stopping by.